To me, the social contract started to erode when they invented air conditioning. I know it sounds silly, but we had front porches and we saw our neighbors and our neighbors watched our kids. I grew up that way and it was glorious, right? And air conditioning brought us all in the house. We didn't see each other anymore. And now decks are on the back, there's nothing out front. You insulate yourself from community. But helicopter parents, stranger danger, kids aren't allowed outside, then iPhones and internet. And all of these things are bringing us down to, we don't have a life experience, we have a screen experience. Can anybody be creative? Yes, I just think they've been told they can't. Or they've been told it's silly. In one of the people that I'm reading, they made the analogy of pasteurization for milk. You get this beautiful product from your cattle, and then you pasteurize everything out of it that's good, and then you sell it claiming that it has all these features that you've pasteurized out, and it's empty calories and bad for you. I think we're doing that same thing to our young people. So creativity to me is a lost gem that we're processing out of our youth. When we take all that good stuff out, it's hard to put it back in. It's hard to look at an adult and say, remember when you were a kid and you could run out in the yard and lay down in the grass and just watch the cloud. Oh, that looks like a cow. That looks like a duck, right? I'm afraid that's not happening anymore. Daydreaming needs to be part of our rubrics. I'm very discouraged for our society right now because we're so focused on likes. At the end of the day, your creativity should be what you believe is good, and that's good enough. And in my sketchbooks, I tear through these sketchbooks just doing stuff that may or may not matter to anybody, but it matters to me, therefore it's good and it's creative. People have to be free. They have to be in a situation where they can throw out an idea that is not even close to mature, but there's a seed in there. And then the rest of the room can pick up that ball and go, oh my gosh, maybe not that, but this, and boom, then things start to light up. I don't think we're going to solve any problem that faces us in the world. We call it our global warming, delivery of safe, clean water, healthcare, all of those things, unless people can be given the moment to be ridiculous. When I first started teaching, I taught at night. The way they kind of get you and pull you in is go, hey, you want to teach intro at night? And I did, and it was fun. But the thing that bothered me is I would say, well, we need a creative thought here, a creative solution, or do you think you're creative? Just in conversation, just trying to get to know people. And oftentimes the response would be, oh, I can really rock Photoshop or whatever. It was a software-based response and not a creative thinking response. So that got me thinking. The default setting is software or a screen of some type or a process that's based on math or vectors or whatever, and it's not free thinking. So I started thinking about and pursuing, how do you teach creativity? And it's maddening. And wonderful. So when I came here and I started teaching, and you have people like lined up looking at screens, and you're working on that graphic translation, or whatever that is, right? And you're just toiling and nothing's working. And there's a lot of anguish learning the tools and getting something to work. There was a guy that he was not in this major. I think he was an engineer, and he was doing something, and all of a sudden, he just did like this, poof, and this thing happened that was great. And I was walking by, and I looked at that, and I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, right? And he stood up, and everybody in the class was like, what? And so it was this big moment. It worked. He's like, but I don't know what I did. I just kind of pooped that out. And I didn't even think, I said, poop more. And everybody just, it was a hilarious moment, but it was a great one, right? Because he was pushing that rock uphill for so long, but that's why it happened, right? So I'm still pushing that rock. In every class that I've had, there has been a student that has had a moment of, and that's why I'm here. There's all of these pieces that I'm trying to assemble into a campfire, right? To try and reach out to somebody and say, you were creative in your original operating system. And our educational system has tampered with that. So we need to get you back to that OG setting. The hardest thing to do is talk to somebody that's successful. I say accounting a lot, or an attorney, or in sales, or whatever that is. And they don't need to be creative now, or at least what they think is creative, because they're successful. And I feel bad that they don't want to make time because, why bother? Because it could season their life so much, right? And I'm not saying you have to paint, big murals or write the next great novel. My mom had drawing pads we had a telephone in the kitchen, and she would talk to my sisters or whatever, and she would just doodle, and she loved drawing eyes. And I still have some of those, right? And that was her art. And her art was cooking. Till the day she died, she was taking cooking classes and finding ways. Oh my gosh, her food was just amazing. But it was also beautiful, right? She studied plating because that was her art. I think creativity is bravery. It's the ability to trust your self-expression enough to allow it to be ridiculed and have it not bother you. Now, it may or may not be ridiculed. It may be accepted and it may not be. Those who don't accept your creative work, they're not your people. Don't even worry about that. The people that accept your work, there you go. So you have to have a thick enough skin to put it out there and damn the torpedoes.